I want to embrace the concept of reuse, reduce, recycle. And I want to share with you, I shared last night, those of you who are there, you know, excuse me for repeating, but I like this concept from Japan. I went there and I was talking to them about this reuse, reduce, recycle. And they told me that they used to have a very beautiful concept which they lost when they became too rich. And they are happy to rediscover this concept. It's a concept embedded in their Buddhist religion. And they said that they were taught as children to be very respectful of the resources and the nature around them. And maybe that's why they are so close to nature and they are so good with nature. Be grateful. There is so much to be grateful for. And do not waste. And so they would say that if you left some grains of rice on the plate, they would say, what a motainai. So between motainai, reuse, reduce, recycle, I find something to live for. Because I say, whatever will happen, if nothing happens to the planet, I'll be right here happy. Because I'll be in the shade of the trees I have planted anyway. And if terrible things happen, well, we will have done something about planting the trees and protecting the forests. And so, because our governments at least have accepted that we should move towards low carbon, which is the reason we came, because the postcode lottery adopted this year's theme as climate change. And how can we help each other to move towards low carbon economy? We came to share that message and to demonstrate how we are trying to urge ordinary people to reuse, reduce, recycle. Be respectful, be grateful, and do not waste. And especially for the private sector, this message is very, very important, because we have seen through the banks, especially in the United States, we have seen how when banks or when private sector pursues its objective blindly and without thinking about the greater good, how they can really be so destructive to everybody else. Perhaps now learning through the banks, we can learn that, yeah, it happens in America and it goes all the way to Japan, because we are so interconnected. And so the environment, the business, they are two sides of the same coin. You cannot separate them. And maybe this economic crisis will help to open our eyes to show us how much we are interconnected and how much we all depend on each other, and how much doing damage in one area would eventually come home. And it's for that reason that we keep saying that the companies, especially the northern companies that are doing business in Africa or doing business especially in the Congo, harvesting trees in the Congo, don't destroy that environment, because what you are doing is that you are preparing for a problem tomorrow. You have to create a very big wall across the Mediterranean, because we are coming. We live in the same world. And so it's a great pleasure to be here and to share the experience that we are learning together with Green Cross. And I think through that organization, we are showing how indeed we are connected, we can work together, we can support each other, and we are all living in that tiny little blue planet. And we are not going anywhere, so we better protect it. Let me tell you a little story that I usually tell this story to young people, but also to the not so young or not so old. And it's a story I tell myself also, because I don't want to give up, and I don't want to be discouraged, and I don't want to live in a place, discouraged, because we can't afford it. Because remember I told you that as far as the planet is concerned, the planet is all right. It's we who have a problem. So we really must be energized to do something. And so I'm going to tell you a story about this. You may have heard this story, but allow me to tell you. It's a story of a hummingbird. Do you have hummingbirds here? I guess they are mostly in North America. Yeah, it's too cold for them. But the hummingbirds are actually very, very small birds, and they're almost as small as a butterfly. And their wings, as they fly, their wings are very, very, very fast. They make a humming sound. That's why they are called hummingbirds, but very tiny. So there was this forest. It's a forest. Imagine a forest, and this forest is on fire, and it's a huge bonfire, and all the animals are coming out of the forest, extremely worried, extremely concerned, and they all come to the edge of the forest, and they watch the fire burning, except this little hummingbird. It says, I'm going to do something about this fire. So it flies to the nearest stream, brings back a drop of water with its little beak, puts it on the burning fire in the hope that that drop will make a difference. And it runs back to the river and brings another drop of water and puts it on the burning fire and keeps running up and down, up and down. And all this time, the other animals are waiting at the edge of the forest, watching the hummingbird and wondering, what the hell is this hummingbird up to? There is nothing. They tell the hummingbird, you can't do anything about this fire. It's too big. You are too small. You have only a little beak. Every time you come with a tiny little drop, you can't do anything about the fire. But the little bird wouldn't hear of it. Kept going up and down, up and down, up and down, every time bringing a drop of water and believing that maybe this time, this drop will make the difference. And without wasting time, the animals would tell you, what are you thinking? What do you think you are doing? Come here. Be overwhelmed like the rest of us. Feel dispossessed. Feel disempowered. No, the little bird will continue going up and down, and every time bringing a drop of water. And in response to the discouragement from these other animals, turns to them without wasting time and says, I'm doing the best I can. And that's all we can do, the best we can.
Thank you very